What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to keep this intro very short because if you clicked on this video, the thumbnail and the title already made it very clear what it's about, and that's what you're here for. So before we get into the video, if you like the video, make sure to like it, comment on it, and if you want to help support the channel, make sure to subscribe and share the video. But without further ado,
let's get this party started.
The Packers are a team that I could see winning at least one game, but I don't know how many games they'll win at the maximum. They won't make the playoffs, and the team I think they'll beat are the Falcons. The teams they'll lose to are the Saints, Lions, Raiders, Broncos, Vikings, Rams, Steelers, Chargers, Chiefs, Giants, and Panthers. And the teams that they can go either way with are the Bears, Buccaneers, and Vikings, but I think they could pull off a win against the Buccaneers. This is going to be a really weird season for Green Bay. While I do have faith in Jordan Love and I think he can play well enough to make a name for himself, his receiving core just isn't good enough to elevate his game to the next level. Defensively, the Packers are just an average team, and that's why I really can't guarantee how many games this team is going to win. When you have a subpar offense and an average defense, it's not really a recipe for success. The Vikings are a team that could win at least 9 games and win a maximum of 12. Their ceiling is reaching the conference championship while their floor is being a wildcard exit. The teams they beat will be the Raiders, Buccaneers, Panthers, Bears, Packers, Falcons, Saints, Broncos, and Lions, and they'll lose to the Chiefs and the Bengals. Now the games that can go either way for them are against the Eagles, Niners, Bears, Lions, Packers, and Chargers, in which I can see Minnesota beating the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers. For a team that won so many games last year, the Vikings have a pretty easy schedule, which is why I think they'll win a lot of games once again. Losing Dalvin Cook is something that could hurt this team, but the drafting of Jordan Addison paired with Justin Jefferson will be huge for playmaking, and of course Kirk Cousins is going to pass for a lot of yards. The Bears are a team that'll win at least 4 games and could win as many as 10. Their ceiling is a wildcard exit while their floor is just not making the playoffs at all. The teams they'll beat are the Buccaneers, Panthers, Cardinals, and Falcons, but they'll lose to the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Vikings, and the Lions. Now they could go either way with the Packers, Broncos, Commanders, Vikings, Saints, Lions, and Browns, and I think they'll end up beating the Packers both times, the Broncos, the Commanders, the Saints, and the Lions. Offensively, this Chicago Bears team has made huge improvements in both the draft and through free agency in the offseason. They've made a lot of moves that'll help the team, and they have a friendly schedule, which if you add those together, looks for a pretty favorable road to the playoffs. They don't have a very difficult home schedule, and they don't have any stretches of tough play, which could lead to back-to-back losses. So Chicago looks geared to make the playoffs this year, and I still stand by the idea that Justin Fields will finish a top 5 quarterback in the league. Detroit will win at least 8 games this year, and at a maximum they'll win 11. Their ceiling is a divisional round exit while their floor is missing the playoffs, albeit unlikely. The teams that they will beat are the Panthers, Falcons, Packers, Buccaneers, Bears, Saints, and Broncos. They'll lose to the Chiefs, Chargers, and Vikings, and the teams that go either way with are the Seahawks, Ravens, Raiders, Bears, Vikings, and Cowboys, in which I could see them beating the Raiders, the Bears, and the Vikings. Detroit will be an offensive juggernaut this year, similar to how they were last year, but better. And a big part of that is due to rookie running back Jahmyr Gibbs making impact as a two-way back. Amon-Ra St. Brown will continue to be elite as one of the best receivers in the league, but the area of concern for Detroit is whether or not they can play at least a respectable level of defense and not get ran over week by week to help the offense not have to go out there and score 30 points per game just to win. They have a tough closing schedule from weeks 16 through 18, but those games aren't unwinnable. The Saints will win at least 6 games and will max out as a 9-win team. Their ceiling is a wildcard exit while their floor is missing the playoffs. The teams they'll beat are the Panthers, the Packers, the Texans, the Falcons, and the Buccaneers. They'll lose to the Patriots, Vikings, Lions, and Rams, and the games that go either way are the Titans, Buccaneers, Jaguars, Colts, Bears, Giants, and Falcons, in which they'll most likely beat the Buccaneers, Colts, and the Falcons. The Saints could realistically start the season going off either 6-0, 5-1, or 4-2. That's how easy their opening schedule is. And with their divisional contemporaries being the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Buccaneers, they'll run away with that division. Jamal Williams is a good addition to this team, and he will work well with Kamara when he comes back from suspension. And year 2 Chris Olave or Derek Carr is going to go crazy. And I'm all but certain that Derek Carr will make the Pro Bowl this season. The Falcons are a team that'll win at least 5 games and max out as a 7-win team. Their ceiling is not making the playoffs, and their floor is not making the playoffs. They'll beat the Panthers, Texans, Buccaneers, and Cardinals. They'll lose to the Packers, Lions, Jaguars, Titans, Vikings, Jets, Bears, and Saints. And the teams that can go either way with them are the Commanders, Saints, and Buccaneers, in which I think the Falcons will beat the Saints and the Buccaneers. This is yet another team going through a rebuild. On paper, their offense looks amazing with Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London, and that is a very talented group of young skill players. But the reality is, unless you have a top defense, which Atlanta does not, those skill positions are not enough to win. You need a quarterback, and I think Atlanta has a good one in Desmond Ridder. I'm not saying he's a Pro Bowler, but I think he'll be just good this year. The Falcons will be competitive, but nothing more than just that, which is why their ceiling for them is just 8 wins. The Bucs are another team where I can guarantee they win 1 game, but I have no idea how many games they're going to win maximum. They're not going to make the playoffs, and the one team I think they'll beat are the Panthers. They'll lose to the Vikings, Bears, Eagles, Saints, Lions, Falcons, Bills, Titans, Niners, Jaguars, and Panthers, and the teams they'll go either way with are the Texans, Colts, Falcons, Packers, and Saints, in which I think they could beat the Texans, but that might be a reach. If this team had the same defense from 2 or 3 years ago, they'll be a slam dunk to make the playoffs. But they don't. This team's going to be trash. And it would be nice to see Baker have a good season, but overall, this team just ain't it. The Panthers will win at least 3 games and cap out as a 5-win team. Their ceiling is not making the playoffs, and their floor is they still won't make the playoffs. They'll beat the Texans, Buccaneers, and the Packers, but they'll lose to the Falcons, Saints, Seahawks, Vikings, Lions, Dolphins, Bears, Cowboys, Jaguars, and Buccaneers. The 2 teams I think they could beat are the Colts and the Titans. The Panthers are another team in which fans should have little to no expectations when it comes to winning. It's clear this franchise is going through a rebuild with the complete overhauling of the coaching staff from the head coach all the way down to the coordinators. But stay patient with Bryce Young and root for and watch his development. Speaking of Bryce, I do like the moves that Carolina made by adding Miles Sanders, Hayden Hurst, and Adam Thielen as weapons to try to help Bryce this year. Although strangely enough, for a team that will be bad, they kind of have a tough schedule. A bad team with a tough schedule is never a good mix. Seattle will win at least 6 games and will max out as a 10-win team. Their ceiling is a divisional round exit while their floor is a wild card exit. They will beat the Rams, Panthers, Cardinals, and Commanders. They'll lose to the Bengals, Ravens, Niners, Cowboys, and Eagles, and games in which they can go either way are against the Lions, Giants, Browns, Niners, Titans, and Steelers, in which I could see them beating the Browns, the Niners, the Titans, and the Steelers. Weeks 11 through 15 are going to be really tough for Seattle, but if they make it through that fire with a winning record, then we'll know the Seahawks are the real deal. They could be better defensively, but the strength of this team is on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think what Geno did last year is a fluke, and Seattle Geno is here to stay and excel. And help him even more, the Seahawks drafted Jackson Smith-Njigba, who I would not be shocked if he was the best receiver at the end of this year on the Seahawks. Having him paired with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, Seattle might have the best receiver trio in the entire league. The 49ers will win at least 8 games and will cap out as an 11-win team. Their ceiling is Super Bowl champions, while their floor is division game championship appearance. They'll beat the Steelers, Rams, Giants, Cardinals, Buccaneers, Seahawks, and Commanders. They'll lose to the Cowboys, Browns, Bengals, Eagles, and Rams, and the games they can go either way with are the Vikings, Jaguars, Seahawks, and Ravens, in which they should beat the Vikings, Jaguars, and Ravens. The Niners are going to be a great team, but I'm not as sold on them as everybody else is. While I know their defense is probably the best in the entire league, their offensive line is just but their skill positions are crazy with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. My concerns with the quarterback. Brock Purdy balled out last year in the playoffs and it was amazing, but that is a very small sample size, and I don't want San Fran to fall into another Brock Osweiler trap when they could have kept Trey Lance, who I think is better than Brock Purdy. But we'll see. If Brock is what he was last year in the playoffs, and this team is going straight to the Super Bowl. If not, San Fran could be in trouble. Now, the Cardinals, I don't know what the Cardinals are doing this year, okay? I don't know who they're going to beat, who they're going to lose to. They definitely not going to make the playoffs. They'll lose to everybody except for the Rams, maybe twice, and the Seahawks. That's it. This team is going to be absolutely terrible. Good and terrible. They could look competitive for a stretch of games in weeks 10 through 13, as that's the softest part of their schedule, but besides that, it's finna be dark times in Arizona. They're obviously going through a rebuild, and they'll most likely get rid of Kyler Murray, which will be a bad idea, and I hope they suck forever if they do that. But look, y'all got a new offense coordinator, got a new coach. Give the brother a chance. They won't because of money and stuff, but if y'all trade him, I wish y'all 50 years of failure. And going from one bad team to another, we have the Rams, who I think will win at least 4 games and a maximum of 5. They're obviously not going to make the playoffs. They'll beat the Colts, Packers, Saints, and 49ers. They're going to lose to Seattle, the Niners, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Browns, the Ravens, and the Giants. And they'll hang tough with the Cardinals twice and the Commanders, and they'll probably just beat the Cardinals once. Remember that F them picks movement a few years ago by the Rams? Good news, they won the Super Bowl. Bad news, now the lack of picks is coming back to bite them. It was worth it because winning is always worth it, but this team is going to be bad. Sure, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp are still there, and they're good enough to win a few games, and Aaron Donald's still there on defense, although he might get traded by the end of this season or before the end of the season. But this Rams team won't be any good. But hey, F them picks worked. Now the Rams just have to slowly climb back. The Commanders are a team that will win at least 3 games and a maximum of 5. They're not going to make the playoffs, and the teams they'll beat are the Cardinals, Giants, and Cowboys. They'll end up losing to the Broncos, Bills, Eagles, Giants, Seahawks, Cowboys, Dolphins, Jets, and Niners. And the games that can go either way for them are against the Bears, Falcons, Patriots, and Rams, in which I can see them beating the Falcons and the Rams. Between you and me, the Commanders are actually better than a 5-win team, but the reason I have them at that is because they have such a tough schedule, and a lot of their winnable games are away on the road. Their defense is going to be top 10 again. They have an excellent receiving core with Dotson and McLaurin, solid running game, good enough offensive line, but the question that for the Commanders is how good is their quarterback going to be? If Howell can at least be solid, then they might win more than 5 games, but for the moment being, I just can't see them winning anymore due to the strength of their schedule. The Giants are a team that I could see winning at least 7 games and a maximum of 9. Their ceiling is a division round exit, while their floor is missing the playoffs completely. The teams they'll beat are the Cardinals, Raiders, Cowboys, Commanders, Packers, Rams, and Eagles. They'll lose to the Cowboys, Niners, Bills, Commanders, Jets, and Eagles. And the games in which can go 50-50 for them are against the Seahawks, Dolphins, Patriots, and Saints, in which I could see them beating the Seahawks and the Saints. This Giants team feels like a rinse and repeat of last year. They're going to win a good amount of games. They have one of the best defenses in the league. Saquon Barkley will do his thing. I think Daniel Jones will continue to get a little bit better. Not an elite quarterback, but that level about 1 or 2 tiers below it. But I just don't think the Giants are good enough to do anything for real. The back end of their schedule is pretty easy to close the season out, so they'll rack up some wins there. But overall, I don't have much to say about the Giants. They feel like the exact same team that we saw last season. The Eagles are a team that I think will just flat out win 14 games this year. Their ceiling is Super Bowl champions, while their floor is a conference championship loss. They'll beat everybody except for the Cowboys and the Giants. They'll lose to them. And then as far as their push games, I have them going 50-50 with either the Vikings or the Chiefs. With a team this good, you just expect greatness from them. We know the Philly Bulldogs are going to be excellent. They have a great quarterback, elite receiving core, one of the best, if not the best offensive line in all of football, one of the better defensive lines, great secondary. Everything you want they have as a football team, and they're geared to run through the entire league. Now, they did lose their offensive and defense coordinator this offseason, so that could prove to be a little bit problematic, but like we've seen with the Chiefs, another great team, they should be fine. The Eagles are primed to go back to a Super Bowl. And the Dallas Cowboys, I have them winning a minimum of 8 games and a maximum of 11. Their ceiling is a Super Bowl appearance, while their floor is a division round loss. They'll beat the Giants, Cardinals, Niners, Rams, Panthers, Commanders, Seahawks, and Eagles. They'll lose to the Eagles, Giants, and Commanders. And the games that can go either way are against the Jets, Patriots, Chargers, Bills, Dolphins, and Lions, in which I think they will beat the Patriots, Dolphins, and the Lions. Another year and another chance for Cowboys fans across the entire world to all say in unison that we them boys and we gonna go to the Super Bowl this year. Granted, at their absolute best, I think they could do it, but do I think they will do it? No, I don't. As always, the Cowboys are hyper talented on offense and on defense. They have one of the best defense. Actually, the entire NFC East just has a great defense. That might be the best defense division in all of football. But offensively, I think Dak Prescott's been catching a lot of strays recently with the addition of Trey Lance on the team. Dak is still a very good quarterback. The Cowboys will win a ton of regular season games, but they have to beat themselves in the playoffs and not choke.